speaker is Professor Jinghua Cao from China. I was fortunate that we also worked with ANSO as a collaborator, and I know a lot of activities which are being done by ANSO. And I would like to introduce Professor Jinghua Cao. He's an executive director, the Secretariat of Alliance of International Science Organization. Prior to this position, he was Director General, the Bureau of International Cooperation, Chinese Academy of Sciences, and his research interests are science policy, international cooperation in science and engineering. His publication includes few articles in international journals. And now, today, he will be talking about, his topic is a snapshot at Alliance of International Science Organizations, ANSO, and ANSO's effort in combating the pandemic. So I hand over the mic to Professor Jinghua Cao. Thank you very much, Professor.
Okay. All right, and Professor Mahabhatnasan, thank you for the nice introduction. Also to my friend Dr. Shiraro. And well, I changed my topic just a tiny little bit. I really didn't know the background of this webinar. Otherwise, I would have invited Professor Gao Fu, director of the Chinese CDC, to talk about the Chinese picture of the infections and the virus control. My is closely related what ANSO did or has done, during the pandemic. But just to give you a snapshot of what ANSO is. So the topics tackling the pandemic with science, technology, and international collaborations. I do want to emphasize partnerships. All right. Oh my goodness, why? Come move on. Why is it? All right. Okay. So ANSO is a non-governmental and non-profit international science organization hosted by CES and founded about 2.5 years ago, about 37 National Academy of Sciences institutes and universities. And of course, the secretary is located in the Chinese Academy of Sciences. We do have a charter. Its vision is to promote the shared development, advances UN SDGs, and the principle we adhere to includes joint consultation, joint efforts, and joint benefits. And we can say it's a problem-driven and action-oriented international science, organization. So when we created a number of National Academy of Sciences, say, hey, we have a lot of international science organizations. Now, why you are interested in creating another one? Then the difference is that we want to take the concrete actions that we do support programs, capacity building, training workshops, and so on and so forth. And of course, we do policy analysis, but we want to be an actioner rather than just a strategic study of that type of things. So we give emphasis on green, sustainable, quality development, the Belt and Road Initiative. So in our inauguration, President Xi sent a letter confirming the significant role our primary strength is the Chinese Academy. So a letter from President Xi, I will skip this part. And so vision is aspiring to be an international science organization of much impact in the promotion of shared development and UN SDGs by implementing, supporting concrete programs, initiatives, and actions in science, technology, innovation, and capacity building. So this is the ANSO governance system. So we do have a General Assembly that is really the highest decision making, and also we do have a governing board that is consists of members, and also a secretary located in China. And now that we have both formal and informal members, roughly around 59, then I'll talk about the strategic focus. Those are the strategic focus. In other words, so we do support international collaboration areas of major importance to sustainable development and programs, initiatives for livelihoods and well-being, such as clean drinking water, food security, environmental problems, and public health, and capacity building, and of course, science-based device and tech transfer. We're still in a very early stage to explore how we can really enhance the tech transfer. So we do have a set of tools to support our vision, from training to the support of conferences. One thing about these organizations that, a little bit of funding and, can be transferred to overseas to support internationally called research proposals and training initiatives. So I'll give you example, our collaborative research. So we support two categories. One is with scientific goals, climate change, water resources, land degradation, energy. Another aspect is really, for livelihood, like, the pandemic, for instance, the developing the testing kits, poverty of alleviation, disaster reduction, and different things. In general, should be problem-driven, solution-oriented, very much linked with green and sustainable development. So this is the ANSO capacity building program. We say that we support about 300 PhDs and 200 masters a year. So we recruit internationally, and most of them are from developing countries. And the biggest one at the moment in our campuses, because we have 3 universities, are students from Pakistan. And also that we have a particular program with TWAS UNESCO that supports the students from the least developed countries. And also do have a prize to support those activists in international collaboration, of course. And it makes a lot of sense if they commit a lot of efforts to support collaboration with China, and of course, much beyond. So we support about 20 training programs, trainings in conjunction to answer research projects with global and regional challenges, training at the proposal and special requests of ANSO family members, and joint training with other international organizations. Like we did CUPAF with the United Commission of Science and Technology for Development, for instance. And recently we launched a new visiting scholarship. They're inviting some of the best people around the world to take advantage of the big science facilities in China. We call it innovation devices open to the rest of the world. So science-based device, I don't want to talk too much about it. For instance, we supported, one that study, the women's role in combating the virus. They definitely play a very important role. In some of the places they under such pressing situation. Just give example. So we have a few flagship programs, and ANSO Health Corridor and is a flagship program. We created this program before the outbreak of the pandemic. So ANSO networks a way to greater impact. So I'll skip this part. In other words, that we created about 19 academic associations and networks to help ANSO to achieve our visions and strategic goals. Then and on a little bit of efforts in combating the diseases. And let me see, if I can open this. Oh my goodness. Okay, so basically at the start, we started to donate, and of course that initially the outbreak that we received a lot of condolences and support from ANSO, families. And quickly we realized this is a global outbreak. And then once we started to donate some of the face masks, and just about 2 months ago, that our friends in Chile received their face masks, more than 2,000. So it took them for half a year to get it. And just 2 days ago, and I think today, and our donation, about 20,000 testing kits, are arriving in the Brazilian Academy of Sciences. So that is a lesson learned, but how we can avoid it, I don't know. So it took about half a year to send the face masks to the other side of the world. And of course, and we played a very important role in disseminating the genome sequencing information to the rest of the world through our web page. And we presented the scientific achievements in company virus, not only made by the Chinese Academy of Sciences research institute scientists, but also the Chinese universities, and vice versa. We also try to present some of the findings by the ANSO family members. And one thing I want to point out is that so through ANSO, it is through ANSO that we assisted a Chinese vaccine to get the third phase clinical trial in Uzbekistan. Because of that, Uzbekistan issued emergency use authorization that pushed the Chinese FDA to prove its use in China, EUA. And of course, also here, I do want to thank, number of countries, including, Pakistan Academy of Sciences and Amazi University, Pakistan. So you see that, so we're talking about lessons learned here. So we have to have friends. In that kind of situation, even you have a good candidate, you cannot do the third phase clinical trial in China, because of lack of patients, lack of infections. So you have to do it through international collaboration to carry out the double blind in the clinical trial. And that's, of course, and donations. So a few pictures and to indicate that. And also we serve as a bridge for some of the countries in procuring ventilators. And also we donated, some testing kits, you see, and quite a bit of it. And so a big role in communicating, COVID-related information, particularly the genome sequencing. And so a workshop about, a big data analysis and forecast for pandemic. So in current situation, this is a very big topic, for Japan, of course, for China as well. So we have those Olympic Games around the corner. So in what kind of situation we can really open the society? In China's case, about, and 300 million people got vaccinated. And we're seeing in Europe, they're opening their doors, what kind of policy the government can take. So in other words, there is much for us to address this issue, with the ASEAN, organization, with our countries. You need to seriously think what next after vaccination, the how the infection will be, and what kind of policy we should take. So my general analysis is that we have to be as careful as possible, because there are mutated, strains like what we see in India, and so we have to be as careful as possible. And we supported some joint efforts with ANSO Emergency Fund. One good thing about ANSO is that the moment we realized the global outbreak, we quickly created an emergency fund. We support a few international collaboration programs, including with Fiocruz. Together, we jointly developed a testing kits, and of course, some other devices like development of R&D of non-contact, monitoring technology, you really can see the patient situation without being so close. That is a way to protect the doctors and nurses, and also, a joint study to see HASA scan, to understand the COVID infection, situation in that country. Really, there is a lack of that facility. So we pulled the Institute of, Microbiology and Chinese STD, on wisdom. I have 2 more minutes. So a few workshops, I want to, really skew that part. So some of the trainings, and we did, because food, gets to be a terrible situation under the pressing pandemic, to secure food security for some of the countries. So we really hope the less developed countries, we want to give them the tools so they can really decide on their agriculture policy, including, what is the best time for them to purchase in the international market. All right, I'll skip this part. So a global health will be a top priority, and so in the future. So if there are any lessons just here, global collaboration is definitely, let science speak. And also, so we really need to look after the, less advantages of marginal people. And we need to, collaborate with each other. There's so much for us to learn. In China, for instance, if you don't handle the meeting enough, that also causes a big fear among the public. Internationally, the same. And we should join our hands together rather than to blame each other, rather than to spread the hate and so on and so forth. We only have one Earth, and together we can address our challenges much better than otherwise. Thank you so much. Yes, I finished.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Professor, for